Hello students, myself Anil Kumar Sharma, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर LBS गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज कोटपुतली। आज के इस टॉपिक में हम पढ़ेंगे कि कोशिका में प्रोटीन का संश्लेषण किस प्रकार से होता है। द मैकेनिज्म ऑफ प्रोटीन सिंथेसिस आज कॉल्ड ट्रांसलेशन because the language of the nucleotide sequence on the mRNA is translated into the language of the amino acid sequence. The mRNA is translated from its 5' end to its 3' end, producing a protein synthesized from its amino terminal end to its carboxyl terminal end. ट्रांसलेशन में रिक्वायर्ड कंपोनेंट्स कौन कौन से हैं? Translation requires appropriate amino acids, transfer RNA or tRNA, messenger RNA, amino acyl tRNA synthetase enzyme, functionally competent ribosomes, protein factors, and ATP and GTP as a source of energy. These components are required for protein synthesis. The steps of protein synthesis involve 3 stages. First is initiation, second is elongation, and third is termination. Initiation of the protein synthesis involves the assembly of the components of the translation system before the peptide bond formation occurs. These components include 2 ribosomal subunits, mRNA, amino acyl tRNA specified by the codons in the message, GTP and initiation factors that facilitate the assembly of this initiation complex. In prokaryotic cells, translation have 3 initiation factors that are known IF1, IF2 and IF3, while in eukaryotes there are at least 9 initiation factors designated as EIF. E indicate the eukaryotic region. A and P sites on ribosomes. The ribosomes has 2 binding sites for tRNA molecules. One is A site and the second is P site. A site binds an incoming amino acyl tRNA as directed by the codon. This codon specifies the next amino acid to be added to the growing peptide chain, and the P site is occupied by the peptidyl tRNA. This tRNA carries the chain of amino acids that has already been synthesized. An E site is also present on the ribosomes that is occupied by the empty tRNA that is about to exit the ribosome. In this diagram, we have seen the 2 units of ribosomes, 30S subunit and 50S subunit, and the 3 sites of protein synthesis, A site, P site and E site on the large subunit 50S subunit. Transfer RNA. At least one specific type of tRNA is required per amino acid. 2 sites are important, one amino acid attachment site and the other is anticodon site on the transfer RNA. Because of their ability to carry a specific amino acid and to recognize the codons for that amino acid, tRNA molecule also called the adapter molecule. This is the structure of transfer RNA, tRNA, that have 4 arms. First is the amino acid binding site arm. Here is 3' end where the amino acid binds, and its opposite there is a anticodon arm where 3 base of nucleotides that called anticodon These anticodons recognize the codon of mRNA molecule during protein synthesis. The initiation process in the small ribosomal subunit first binds to the initiation factor 3, that is called IF3. Meanwhile, the formylmethionine tRNA binds to initiation factor 2 called IF2, which promotes binding of the tRNA to the start codon. The small subunit and IF3 initiation factor 3 complex scan along the mRNA until it encounters the start codon AUG. The tRNA and IF2 complex also binds to the start codon. This complex of the small ribosomal subunit IF3 initiator tRNA and IF2 combinedly called the initiation complex. At this point, the large ribosomal subunit joins, a molecule of GTP is hydrolyzed and the initiation factors are released. The ribosomal complex is now ready for protein synthesis. When the ribosome is assembled, two tRNA binding sites are created on the ribosome. These are designated as P and A site. P stands for peptidyl and A stands for amino acyl. The initiator tRNA is in the P site and the A site will be filled by the new tRNA with the anticodon that is complementary to the next codon. In this diagram, it is the tRNA that binds proline. When the second tRNA base pairs with the appropriate codon in the mRNA, an enzyme called peptidyl transferase catalyzes the formation of a peptide bond between the two amino acids present, meanwhile breaking the bond between formylmethionine and its tRNA that is attached on P site. This activity is intrinsic to the 23S ribosomal RNA found in the large subunit of ribosomes. Since the rRNA catalyzes this process, so it is referred to as the ribozyme. Next process is elongation. At this point, the whole ribosome shifts over one codon. This shifts requires several elongation factors and energy from the hydrolysis of GTP. The result of the shift is that the uncharged tRNA that was in the P site is ejected and the tRNA that was in the A site is now in the P site. The A site is free to accept the tRNA molecule with the appropriate anticodon for the next codon in the mRNA. The next tRNA base pairs with the next codon and peptidyl transferase catalyzes the formation of a peptide bond between the new amino acid and the growing peptide chain. Once again, the ribosome shifts over so that the uncharged tRNA is expelled and the tRNA with the peptide chain occupies the P site. This is why this site is called the peptidyl site. After the shift, it contains the tRNA with the growing peptide chain and the other site will accept to a tRNA with a new amino acids, hence the name is amino acyl site. The process of shifting and peptide bond formation continues over and over until a termination codon is encountered. The elongation process is fairly rapid, with prokaryotic ribosomes able to add 15 amino acids to the growing polypeptide every second. The process is also relatively error-free. Only one mistake is made every 10,000 amino acids. For large proteins of 1000 amino acids, that would mean one wrong amino acid in every 10 polypeptides. This is the chart of elongation. The third stage is termination. When a termination codon enters on the A site, translation halts. This is because there is no tRNA with an anticodon that is complementary to any of the stop codon. The release factor causes the translation complex to fall apart and cleavage the polypeptides from the final tRNA. The polypeptide products is now free to function in the cell, and the mRNA molecule is now available to be translated again. Very often, more than one ribosome will translate a single mRNA at the same time. One ribosome will initiate translation, and after it moves down the mRNA a bit, another ribosome will initiate, then another, and so on. The structure consisting of multiple ribosomes translating on a single mRNA molecule is called a polysome. Eventually, the mRNA is degraded and translation of that particular message will cease. This is the diagram of termination when a stop codon is present on A site and the protein synthesis halts, because when the stop codon recognized by the stop codon as are on the site of A site, then no tRNA found in the cytoplasm, and the termination factor also initiate the termination. There are some differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic translation. In eukaryotic translation, very similar overall to prokaryotic translation, but there are a notable differences. These include the followings. Eukaryotic mRNA do not contain a signed Dalgarno sequence. Instead, ribosomal subunits recognize and binds to the 5' cap of eukaryotic mRNA. In other words, the 5' cap takes the place of the signed Dalgarno sequence. Eukaryotes do not use formyl methionine as the first amino acid in every polypeptide. Ordinary methionine is used. And eukaryotic cells do have a specific initiator tRNA. However, eukaryotic translation involves many more protein factors than prokaryotic translation. For example, eukaryotic initiation involves at least 10 factors instead of the 3 in prokaryotes. There are some molecules that are inhibit protein synthesis, that called inhibitor molecules. These includes tetracyclines, puromycin, chloramphenicol, clindamycin and erythromycin, and diphtheria toxins. That are the molecules that stop the protein synthesis in various stages. After protein synthesis, there are some post-translation modification. The newly synthesized protein is modified to become functionally active. The post-translation modifications are includes trimming, covalent alteration, phosphorylation, glycosylation, hydroxylation, gamma carboxylation, isoprenylation. Protein degradation. Trimming removes excess amino acids, while phosphorylations may active or inactivate the protein. Glycosylation target a protein to become a part of the plasma membrane or lysosomes. Hydroxylations, such as seen in collagen, is required for acquiring the three-dimensional structure of the protein, and the defective proteins or destined for turnover are marked for destruction by attachment of a ubiquitin protein. Proteins marked in this way are degraded by a cellular components known as the proteasomes. Okay students, Thank you.